Good morning. It's a lovely, beautiful Monday morning. Thank you so much for joining me, Harriet Agbenyi, on today's edition of Business Morning. Like I said, it's great to have you join me on the program. It's quite a packed Monday morning. And of course, this week, we've got only about 4 trading days because, of course, of the long Easter holiday, the long weekend to celebrate the Easter holiday. So we have Good Friday and up until Monday. And so there'll be only 4 trading days this week. But last week also saw quite improved activities, especially as most companies try to meet up with posting their full year results to the Nigerian Stock Exchange. So we'll take a look at what actually shaped investor sentiments for the week just ended with Chukwuma Anyanwu, who's the head of research at GTI Securities. But let's quickly tell you about what we're expecting for the markets and, of course, for the business week. Today, former NSE president and Africa's richest man, Aliko Dangote, will close Monday, 10th NSE trading day at about 2:30 p.m. It's a fine way for him to commemorate his Diamond Jubilee. Of course, you've seen lots of adverts in most of the papers today congratulating him on attaining Diamond Jubilee. So he'll be going to the markets today. He'll be closing today's trading day, and hopefully maybe his visit will have a positive impact on the market. Also been expected this week, a slew of data from the National Bureau of Statistics. The March inflation report and FDC think tank sees modest retrace of headline. Remember that, as reported, for the month of February, for the month of February, you notice that based on the base effect, we had inflation coming in at 17.78%. Well, FDC is predicting the inflation to come in at 16.4%, of course, still based on base effect. So the central bank is to raise FX market interventions and shorten forward FX contract circle, and this comes as it's supplied almost $768 million to the markets last week, including FX forward sales and, of course, disbursement to bureau de change operators. Well, the central bank says it will sell short-tenured forwards of 7 to 30-day maturity, mainly to manufacturers this week. According to a statement from the regulator, the retail, wholesale and bureau de change operators are also being prioritized for supplies. Notwithstanding the significant interventions, FX rates weakened for the most part of last week to about 397 naira to a dollar, and analysts see the drive to boost liquidity trending rates within the band of 390 naira per dollar. Channel's business news editor Boson Omofaye will be joining me much later on the program, and that's what we're going to be focusing on. For how long can the CBN sustain this injections of foreign exchange into the market? Well, according to the statement from the central bank, they are assuring all end users of foreign exchange of the central bank's determination to continue to meet all legitimate FX demand in the market while striving to achieve exchange rate stability. Of course, you remember that from the recently released Purchasing Managers Index from the Central Bank of Nigeria and, of course, FBN-Quest, it showed that there was a little bit of an easing. 47.7 was what the reading was from the Central Bank of Nigeria's PMI, and for FBN-Quest, it was about 48. And that clearly shows that manufacturers are beginning to feel a little bit of an easing on the pressure because most of them were facing the challenge of FX. So that's been addressed now by the Central Bank of Nigeria, and the Central Bank has promised that it will continue to meet all legitimate FX demands. But let's take a look at also what's expected this week. Directors of Bureau de Change meets in Lagos today on FX rates and, of course, the new CBN weekly sales. They're also going to use the opportunity to punish earring operators, those who have not met the requirement or who have not stayed in line with the requirements of the Central Bank of Nigeria. Well, today is the day that they will get the short end of the hammer, if you like to put it that way. And as I already mentioned at the beginning of the program, it's a long Easter holiday, a long weekend, Friday into Saturday, so there's only 4 days of trade this week. But let's take a look at how the markets finished off from last week, taking a look starting from the Nigerian stock market. Notice that investors were quite upbeat as the NSE All-Share Index appreciated 0.90% to close the week at 25,746.52 with a market capitalization of 8.90 trillion naira recorded. Let's take a quick look at the volume and value traded for the week just ended. There you have it, 786.17, slightly lower than what we've been recording in previous weeks. Value came in at 5.82 billion naira and deals transacted were 14,343 for the week just ended. Let's quickly take also a look at the NASDAQ OTC market. The weekly index showed that investors too were quite upbeat in that segment of the market. The NASDAQ OTC for the week, that's the weekly unlisted security index, was up almost 0.5% to 660.02 with a market capitalization of 446.66 billion naira. Also for the week just ended, taking a look now at the Treasury bills segment of the market. Well, okay, that's the total number of deals. Just before we get to the Treasury bills market, deals came in at 120, volume of 360 million shares was registered for the week just ended, and a value of 353.07 million naira. So let's go to the fixed income segment of the market. Keep the stocks aside for a bit. Last week we saw improved investor sentiment around Treasury bills and, of course, around FGN bonds. Also for the week just ended, the second tranche of the FGN savings bond was successfully executed. We'll talk about that much more on the program in just a bit. But taking a look at the numbers from the FMDQ OTC Securities Exchange, as at Friday, these are the top four that were actively traded by investors. I'm hoping we can have that pop up on your screen. Well, we'll get to that in a bit, but just realize that there was a lot of OMO auctions, and of course that's provided some form of liquidity for the market. So as we're having FX sales, we're having the central bank doing OMO auctions and PMA as well, and of course the FGN savings bond that was sold. So for the bonds, let's start from the bonds then. These are the top four most actively bought bonds as at Friday on the FMDQ OTC's market. Notice that the bond maturing on the 22nd of January 2022 had only 9 deals done, but look at the value. About 25.50 billion naira was recorded on this particular bond with a price high of 102.30. But the most actively traded is the bond maturing on the 14th of March 2034. That had about 12 deals recorded and a value of 1.20 billion naira. Of course, the bonds maturing on the 14th of March 2024 and 22nd of January 2026 also caught investors' eye as at Friday. In all, 36 deals were executed and a value of 37.80 billion naira was recorded. So let's quickly get to the Treasury bill segment of the market. These are the top four. Investors still continue to favor short to medium dated bills, and the most actively traded is the bill maturing on the 25th of May 2017. About 129 deals were recorded and a value of 32.25 billion naira as at the end of trade, or as at 2 p.m. And so we have a discount high of 15.90%. The others, the bills maturing on the 20th of July, 4th of May and 11th of May also got strong investors' appetite. 499 deals, almost 500 deals recorded on Treasury bills as at Friday with a value of 127.56 billion naira.